Okay, hello, welcome. It's Wednesday, 17th of April. Just giving you a quick update of what's been going on in the market. Starting off with the relative risk-on tone emanating from the Chinese data overnight. We had GDP come in slightly above expectations, 6.4%, kind of paying heed then to the various measures of which have been deployed from the central bank and the government in order to counteract the economic downturn China was experiencing at the end of last year. Industrial production, retail sales in China also exceeding expectations. So as a net result, equity index futures seen slightly higher going in towards the cash equity open later in the US. Just looking here at the Nasdaq 100 quickly, you can see futures are trading at their best levels at the moment. Just gone through 1 p.m. here in London at the moment. And I was just having a look here, the record territory within sight for the Nasdaq. You can see back in end of September, early October, when we printed up at 77.28 3/4. So definitely within sight in today's session. In terms of the S&P, also just gone through the relative high that was seen in the future space in reaction to that Chinese data overnight. Upside, you've got the R1 and the double top from the price action from yesterday to keep an eye on if we were to move any higher from there. Pre-market names worth keeping an eye on. Qualcomm up about 10% following the news seen last night that they've won a major victory in wide-ranging legal dispute with Apple as the companies reached a surprise settlement that called for the iPhone to once again use Qualcomm modem chips. So Qualcomm probably the biggest pre-market individual mover. Morgan Stanley, the bank, reported earlier, but no real great surprises there. Still continuing a fairly mixed performance in the banking sector. Netflix slightly marginally lower last night after their earnings report, although the quarter one was a slight beat on new subscribers. Their outlook for Q2 slightly disappointing market participants, but not detracting from the overall positive sentiment in the Nasdaq, given the fact that they weren't shockingly bad, and comparative to recent fluctuations we've seen in the share price of the FANG names, it was only marginal. So Qualcomm the focus. IBM, another big aftermarket earnings yesterday, they're down about 2.5-3% in pre-market after disappointment in their cloud computing division, which is closely followed on Wall Street. Otherwise, the other chart in focus is crude oil. A little bit of an uptick seen overnight on the bullish API data points, which came out last night. The drawdown in the headline figure was of 3 million. Expectations on the street for about 2.3 million build. And we also had the 9th drawdown in a row in gasoline with a draw of about 3.5 million. So at the moment, the trend line from the 9th of April high in the retest on the 12th being relatively respected as far. But obviously you've got the DOEs coming up this afternoon, which could shake things up. Otherwise, from a calendar perspective, it's pretty quiet for the US session. We've got the infantry numbers, of course, coming out for oil, but the upside could well be contained here by the longer lasting technicals in play from a daily continuation. Would be unsurprising to see some consolidation perhaps at around these levels here, strong resistance just above. Calendar-wise, you got US trade data, same coming out of Canada with Canadian CPIs, so some potential volatility for the loonie forthcoming. And then you've got Fed's Bullard, a voting member, speaking about economy and monetary policy later on in the session. All right, that's it. Have a good day, and I'll see you same time tomorrow.